kind of starting in the very beginning and run 4 tanks off the bat, but we didn't really get that. So that might be something for tank squads to think about if they want to have 4 tanks running it, and if they do, like, who are going to be our flex squads for that. But other than that, I figured we would just jump right to the second match. So it was longer. I felt like there's a lot more to take away from it. It was the first time that I had played Checkpoint competitively. So I think there's some good learning opportunities there. Overall, though, I think we played it really well. Everything that I bring up, I got a couple things that I'd like to go over. It's just nitpicking at this point because, we played a solid game. Granted, Big D was not the most fierce competitor that we've ever played. I still think there's some good learning opportunities there. So I jump right into it. Actually, I'm going to turn off push talk first. All right. Here we go. So yeah, on this first one, just looking right after we took the point, I felt like we had some really good opening play here. And after we took the point, this is right before we took it, but afterwards we had some really good layout of OPs. Everybody was right where they needed to be. We had some good pressure down south here. We just punched right through down into this trench up here. North's looking really good. We've got control of the 3-story. We've pushed past the 3-story, which is really good. And we've got this crucial courtyard. So we're going to take this point. It's all good.
I'll say one thing for me. I see 1 dot down there. We probably at least want like something on the south side just to have eyes, or I'm looking at that wheat field at like F8. Just like if tanks are coming up or something, somebody get spots over there.
Yeah, this was going to be the main thing I wanted to talk about. Checkpoint was this south side. In what I wanted to try with Checkpoint was not putting much infantry down there and just letting our tanks deal with the south. And I don't think that worked. So like, it worked. I mean, it was fine. I don't think we faced too much pressure from the south, except for at one point. Although they did sort of drop in our head back there, and they had OPs in this wheat field. And so, like, we can talk about the south now. I mean, we might as well, because it was a bit of an issue throughout the whole match. Every now and then we would feel some pressure down there. The reason why I didn't really push for infantry to go down there is because, number one, it's just a total death trap. Like, you're not going to be able to do too much there outside of this wheat field. And along this hedgerow here, but even then you're pretty limited in the shots you have. So my thinking was that Team 3, instead of splitting us in half and having some down here fighting in this wheat field, I'd have all of us pushing this trench and then reinforcing the strong point in these houses as needed. And that's what we did, and that seemed to work pretty well. They never pushed into the strong point from the south because we always had infantry down here. And when we did have tank presence down here, we basically locked it up. And it was nice to have those extra infantry guys. Instead of being down here, we had them in this trench, and that just meant that we were punching through here the whole time. And that's eventually how we took was just punching through this trench, and assault coming from up.
I think we could definitely run 2 tanks in F8, looking west. That would be really, really good, and we wouldn't even need to worry about infantry down there, really.
Yeah, that was kind of my idea.
Until you get there is the issue, right?
Sorry.
Isn't the point of infantry initial, just for the initial, just so we can spot tanks or everything, so the 2 tanks that are coming up knows what they're getting into?
See, for me, yes, but you could put a couple people down there, like a defense probe or something, just to keep an eye out, so that when our tanks, like, you got this tank here coming up in G8, he doesn't necessarily know what he's seeing or what to expect. So yeah, you could have a squad leader down there and just trying to spot things coming through, or we could even send like this recon vehicle here. just send that recon straight up here right away.
I guess in my mind, it's not just the armor too. Even just one person that keeps them honest about, because if I know, like, if I'm thinking of the enemy, I know we're focusing on the trench. I'm going to try to pop up and possibly go around it on the south side of those hedges. So even just one person keeping an eye on that, making sure they don't get in like a flank at distance. I think that, like, either team three responsibility for, since it has that south side. Maybe like I'm not. I do like the priority where we have everybody. I just felt like that's um, one guy could get those good angles.
Mm-hmm.
Part of it is
Yeah.
that we didn't have the suicide Puma or the suicide recon, so we had 3 tank squads, and we decided to take the Stewart, the recon up north, and then the medium tank. So the recon in the bottom like should be in like E8 right now.
Yeah.
Um,
And I think the Stewart, I think I would not use that play again. Because look where it is right now. Like, we've basically already taken the point, and the Stewart hasn't really done anything.
he was engaged with a Luke's on that road, so that's why he stopped there.
Oh, okay.
The
Fair enough.
Greyhound circles around. We kill the Luke's. I'm not sure what the Stewart does after that, but that's why he was caught up there.
Would you think it's more valuable to have the Stewart up on that road or the recon tank down in the South HQ going into E8?
It depends, because the first match we got killed really quickly in the Stewart because they just had AT spread out.
I mean, for
But,
checkpoints specifically.
Oh, checkpoint. I mean, if we could do both, I'd rather do both. But yeah, I guess like hindsight, we would probably want to do the second recon rather than the Stewart.
Well, we can do both. It's just tanks will have to figure out who is going to be the tank squad, because we only have 3 tank squads, but we'll need a 4th just for the opener so that we can
Yeah.
do all this.
Well, and I mean, I'm still not 100% sold on the fourth, tank, being 100%. I do want to bring it up, and it doesn't, maybe not here at this point, but bring it back up to going back to the original idea that the combined teams have a tank flex, and then basically between 1 or 3, whichever one has like the northern, or the opposite end, that tank flex is the one that maybe does the suicide recon
Yeah.
or something of that nature.
That's exactly it. We just have to figure out and I think that plan works good for me, having just some designated guys, and then
Another issue is
Yeah.
that so we have the 76 bond, but all 3 tanks survive for several minutes more. And I'm not sure their exact layout, but they got the Tiger up really quick. I'm pretty sure the Tiger killed our medium, and it was actually the recon in D4. We circle around, we get the Lukes, we get 3 Garys, we kill the Tiger from behind, we kill a Panther. And like that's like should never happen, and is super lucky that we were able to do that, but it's almost like we should have a tank squad just waiting, because you have the 3-minute start time, then like 2 minutes by the time the medium gets up, the 2 minutes has passed.
Yeah, I think
So
it'll be
sure.
map dependent as well.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I'd like to know. I'd like to sort of leave it up to tankers how they want to run that, especially just off the opener, whatever they think adds the most value. I don't tank, so I don't. I can't really speak too much to that side of the game. But let's move on. It's a good thing to keep in mind for the south side, how we want to run that. I do like the idea of having something down there just to spot whatever's coming through D8 and E8. The infantry here can do that to some degree, but they're mostly focused on this trench. So either we have a probe or whatever just push down a little bit down this road just so they can see what's coming, or we have this recon tank come down here and just sort of right off the break.
If I can interject a minute.
Yeah.
There a lot came through there. We did have a bunch in the back around Maison Decree for a good portion of the match. Now they could have filtered in from the north too, but I saw guys in the beginning going up and through those wheat fields, which I did call out. And for a long time they had a presence back there that we were dealing with.
Down in the
And
wheat
when
field, you mean, in like
well, now,
F8?
yeah, they came through that wheat field and then down into the barn area southwest of Maison Ducree, and we're putting pressure on that garrison because it was lighting up all the time back there. Um, and that, for when we're on defense, that's a long way to send guys out, and they're hung out there if we need them back on point. So not having anything down there let a lot of guys filter in that kept us a little busy.
Mhm.
So I know that I remember us having this discussion when we were trying to throw it all together at the last minute dash. I do think the probe needs to be at the intersection of the bottom of F8, like key 1, right? Just for that OP lighting up, to make sure that they can't make that wheat field, because there is kind of like a creek / hedgerow lane that they can run near observe mark, just a little bit south west of the observe mark that's up in E8. And you're creating a meat grinder for, I guess, Alpha Squad in that circumstance if you don't have that cover south, right?
Yeah. The only counter argument, again, like I said, was it allows us more, because if you have a probe down here, you lose your probes up north. And correct me if I'm wrong, but later on after this, it feels to me that most of the fighting is happening up north. Like there's a squad pushing in F6. From time to time, they're pushing in through E6, but E6 and F6 feel to me like kind of defense, where they're mostly focused. And
Their red zone went down F5 key 3, right near
okay, yeah.
that building south of the road. That's
So
where
they
they're
were pushing
bringing it
in.
from.
Yeah, they were pushing in F5, F6, kind of coming down here. And I hear what you're saying. It just, yeah, I just don't know how much like a probe is. I mean, so like we're enemy infantry coming through E8 and pushing along this field and then working their way into the back through this wheat field. Is that what was going on?
I saw guys do that, yeah.
Okay.
Now, how long that was going on, I don't know. They probably set up, got some OPs established, and kept filtering. But we had presence back there for quite a long time. Granted, there
Yeah.
was more pressure coming down from the north, but we had to deal with stuff back there in G7 quite a bit.
Yeah. G7, I imagine, was their recon, and they wouldn't have had spawns up there, right?
They had
Or was
something
it
up there.
infantry?
They had an off of Mansion. They did F6 or G6. They had a garrison for a short period of time. We got
Because
down.
the G column, they wouldn't have had anything because they can't put anything there. It's too far.
Yeah, it was in like the north F6 area is where they had their garrison.
F6. Yeah. But I mean, I'm focusing on the south right now. Like in the south, like for my mind, and again, I wasn't on defense. I can't speak to this. I'm okay if they're set up in this field because there's really nowhere they're going to be able to go. They have to go down this wide open road running towards the point, and they're just going to get chewed up by everybody who's here. You know, Alpha Squad, defense. Like they could try and run that gauntlet, but they're going to get fucked up. Or they can run all the way around to Maison and try and come up the creek. But for my money, I'd rather have more defense, more infantry focused on this trench up north here, and just keeping an eye back here because you can chew them up pretty easy because you have good sight lines. But tell me if I'm wrong.
So Dash,
Well, as you come off that wheat field, there's cover straight down to those little barns southwest of Decree, and that's you can get right into that ditch and come right into the point. Or if you can take Decree, then you have access to the road, and then you can work off the hedge cover on the north side of the road. So there is ways to do it, but it wasn't a big enough deal that we, just it was dangerous. But if they had played it better, it could have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Dash, I'll say it
Can
like
I?
this and I'll give you the floor morning afterwards. But with the understanding that the sooner that we can free up our defense, the quicker that they can become offense. Is we don't want to keep babysitters back here and just I hear what you're saying. They're gonna get chewed up. We're gonna win that fight. 4 out of 5 times as they're coming out of the wheat field and crossing down, and we might be able to have a force multiplier. But if we did clear that, and I mean, the dream right is to have 100% clear of our active sector. That then allows those babysitters to actually move up right to the edge and flip to offensive pressure.
So let me ask you like this: how many infantry down here do you think they had at one time? Do you think it was about a squad?
About a squad. We
So
were we were
in
in
that
that
sense,
medium tank,
yeah,
and we're engaging a Panther in F8 already.
yeah.
That's where we're facing down, and then I think one of the recon vehicles drove into Maison, and while we were repairing, we disengaged because we were surprised as well that they were so far in. And while we were repairing, the recon came in and took us out from behind, basically. So we were
So
already
from
spotted.
a strategic so from a resource management perspective, that's why I asked how many are down in this field. If there's 6 down here, you're going to need about 6 guys pulled from somewhere else to go fight those guys consistently. You know what I mean? Like you either let them have this and you just shoot them from across the field and you hold them off from stronger positions, or like you said, we send a squad down here and they just basically have to sit here.
Well,
They
I
weren't
wouldn't say
really
that.
hanging in the field. They were using that as cover to get into the structures southwest of Maison and put pressure in that area. That was just their route of travel. At
But this
one
is where
point,
their spawns are, right? Their
well,
spawns can only be in here.
at one point they dropped supplies down. Oh, the GF line at the bottom of the map to probably try and get a garrison up. Luckily, we had a garrison further back at the time, and Diz was able to spawn in there and go get the supplies before they could build a garrison.
Yeah,
Right. For
and
the
that makes sense. Like that they were probably setting up spawns around this wheat field or right behind it on the other side of this road. I guess what I'm just trying to say to Inchon's point was, like, I hear what you're saying. You know, we want to free this up so that our defense is freed up. I just wonder, like, which team would you pull from and to send
So
down here to fight them off?
So I would say team three, just in would be the point, and it could be, and this is kind of what I did with Stu up on the north side, because I know they kept coming in from the north, but I wasn't going to spend my time or my squad's time hunting down a city for a red zone garrison, you know. So instead, we really just kind of ran the picket line at the 6-7 area, worked on keeping those garrisons up with 3 of us, and then let the other team get in position, put the pressure. So I would say this might be an opportunity for team three to say, okay, we're gonna help out defense. We're gonna clear the EF 8 line with a few guys. Meanwhile, while we're kind of pushing up back there, because yeah, I don't know if it's worth keeping everybody back there and clearing it out as much as keeping some of that own map control. But then again, it's definitely not to me, map control focused. If we give them, because I even think, did they put an airhead down there that they got to wave off later?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So eventually, that's what Team 3 did. We had Easton go down here, and he hung out here.
Yep.
And was fighting off that airhead. So eventually Team 3 did split and we did make that play. So it was maybe a little bit too late. We probably could have done it earlier.
Yeah. Morning. I cut you off there. Go ahead, morning.
Yeah, no, and then once we're taken out, we came back with the 76, and I think we took out their red zone garrison in uh, in F6 or F8 on the
Okay.
eastern side. I think numpad 6 somewhere there.
All right.
Can
Well,
you
let's.
can you
Sorry.
move forward a little bit so that's like after cap so we can actually
Yeah.
see what's going
Well, I
on
was
here?
gonna. My next point here is once they start to get cap progress, which is 45-26. So they start to get some cap progress here, and I'm not sure how. And so I wanted to see, are they coming in from the north? Like, where are they coming in from?
They're taking that lane in E7, it looks like, because the Gary's lit up and we don't have a lot of presence north of Alpha Squad there, and it looks like where the observe mark is, obviously, right?
Yeah. So
In F8.
they're coming in from the barn, as Stu was saying. This is team one. Stu, you were Charlie, right? Or we're
Oh, I don't remember. They kind of blended together for me.
Yeah, but anyway, so we're running a little bit of back and forth here on the north side. And then they're also every time we kind of squeeze them from one side, Like if we squeeze them from the DE side, then they would flip over to a red zone garrison on the F. Then we come on the F. They would come back. I'm assuming they had a launch garrison at like D. Actually, they probably did D5, and then they were coming down wide. Which, once again, I'm okay with them walking that long distance because I was holding out on that 6-7 line type deal.
Yeah.
So
So it
this
seems
is right at this moment. I think that garrison mark that's down in F6 was like a 3 call out of supplies. I believe I'm George here, and my OP's hot. I think I remember this situation here. This is the second match, right?
Yeah, this is
yeah,
all
this is the
second.
second match.
Yeah.
This is the one thing I sort of recognized was the F6 area seemed to me to be our weakest defense point. And I think it's just because that's where they had decided they were going to try and attack from the north, was just up around here through the F6.
Yeah.
And I think right here, what we're seeing is a combination of things. I think they do have some dudes right here, right next to the garrison. They never made it past this garrison, but they also had a Panther right here on the road, just shooting directly down. And I think that chewed us up, gave them some cap weight. And then I think, yeah, we had guys pushing in from the north too. So they were kind of pushing from all sides, and we were just buckling a little bit. But it never felt like we were really in danger.
No, I'll point out here. I'm okay if they split their forces. Like if our weakest area is F6, we're doing pretty good on defense type deal.
Yeah,
It's
100%.
not it's not an active sector. Like we knew that's where it come from. Pause here though. And I think Infidel, you and Dyslexic talked about it. My concern is 3 OPs within 50 meters of each other. Like that to me, and then I think what we have a garrison, so there's 4 spawns within 100 meters, diameter of each other. That to me is something where, and we already talked about the south, but we don't want to necessarily be that dense with our spawns.
Yeah, I think this is when Easton actually heads down and fends off some of these dudes. I think I might be wrong.
And we've
But
lost that. We've lost that back garrison at Mason too.
yeah,
So
the garrison coverage is one thing I wanted to point out here. This is not ideal, and I think at this point a better team would have capitalized on this because this is not super strong. I think Assault was able to punch into Gambo just purely because they're shooters and they were able to make that play. But I think against a team like WTH Core, we're getting pinched hard on the north in that case because we've only got one Gary here. This Gary here in E6 needs to get up way before it actually does.
it was up and down multiple times.
It didn't go up until I want to be right about this.
I want to say we got it.
The
up
problem
anyway.
it took us
was-
it took us a while to figure out they had a garrison in D7 in that little courtyard in D7.
Yeah,
but 8-9 area.
This is a tough one for sure. But it's just to note, like this garrison getting this garrison. This one I think took about 9 minutes after we capped, maybe less, but it was between 6 and 9 minutes before this one got up, which isn't bad. Like it's not a huge criticism. Because I'm sure they were full sending through this little road. They always do. And but this is again, it's an opportunity for Assault instead of trying to attack Gambo because they don't end up taking it. Maybe pinch back and take out that attack garrison right here. Deal with these guys and then get this garrison set up in E6 just a little bit earlier, and it would help. It's just one of those small things. Could have helped fend off some of the pressure that we're getting up north here. And again, I was going to say too, yeah, this cluster is not great. We could have definitely shifted south quicker. It's because I had in my mind that I didn't want to have too much infantry down south. And that was probably just a tactical judgment that I had made prior to the match. And I was just carrying that through. But I think it's within a few minutes after this, Easton sees that that's not the correct play. And he actually does get down here.
Good
and
job,
Easton. Yeah, it was a good read by him. He moves because this is his outpost right here. And it actually, we're a little cramped even when he moves it, but it's better. And honestly, we don't let this weakness go for that long. This is just a snapshot in time. I think it's like, let me see here. Where are we at? 46. Yeah, by 49, I think actually we're still not doing great. Hold on. So 3 minutes later.
You're hitting on something. I mean, you lose a point in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Just a slip up of a 2 5-minute window is devastating in a 90-minute match.
And I'll tell you, so right here, this garrison's up. That's great. But we lose this one back here. Sorry, what?
OPs look better.
OPs look better. Garrisons, I'm not super stoked about. Like, see up here, our coverage is not great. And again, a better team is going to take advantage of this. We have an enemy red zone garrison marked on the map here. Whoever King Squad is marks that. I don't know if this is a probe or what, or if this is team one. Fighting looks like what are some enemies up here. But look at the straight shot to the point. We got nothing. And this is one of our crucial map control things. And again, I might be wrong. Like maybe there's not that much enemy presence, and maybe we do. I think we do remedy this fairly quickly. Like, and another problem down here, this garrison is too close to the point. It stops us from building one on the point. Digi, to his credit, actually within a few minutes after I think this snapshot, he recognizes this, takes this garrison down, and then we build it right here. And as soon as this one gets built right here, defense builds one right here. It was a good play by Digi. But yeah,
it was a little slow getting that built, and that was my fault because all that, as you could see down in the FG corner, that's where we were dealing with them. And I had tried to get something up in the middle where we had supplies, but everything was still blocking. And I missed a call out, and I was taking guys down to deal with that in that corner, and I didn't hear the main call to get that garrison up that other one had gone down. So it took me a little while to get back to the point, but that's my fault.
No, it was your
Oh,
also your
good,
first
man.
time with us, so.
Yeah, and you're also like you're blocked by this garrison here. It's not going to let you set up anything on the point anyway until it gets moved. As soon as Digi moves this, you guys respond to build one right on the point.
Well,
And then
as soon as he moved it, the call was made out, but I didn't hear it.
Oh, I see.
I didn't hear it right away. It was probably 30 seconds went by, and Osama or Joe said it in local or in squad chat because I didn't hear it, and that's when I turned and got back to the point. So there was a delay in that happening, and that was on me.
Yeah. So Dash,
Oh,
I want to go back to your point of the F5-6 area.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a balance to strike. Like I'm okay if an enemy puts themselves out of position, especially 300 meters away from an active sector. And because we knew, like I was relaying back to defense, and that's we were we were trying to train with them 2-to-1 and running the pickets to make sure they never really got something up, and defense was aware of it. And I think if that's the only thing, like at this screenshot right here, if they're only coming from that one area and coming down there, and defense is just kind of like, all right, we'll receive you. I actually think that's really good because it should bring up, it should tight tip the scales in our favor for attack. Not to mention just finding an enemy spawn in a fucking city, unless you're coming in with like a squad, a full squad, or like 7 guys, like it's just so time consuming.
Oh, for sure. And my point wasn't to say that this is bad by any stretch. I'm fine with them up here too. Frankly, pushing from the church basically down towards checkpoint, like that's fine. My only point was that we take a little bit too long to set up enough Garys to actually withstand that against a better team. That was the only point that I was trying to make, was we should have just a little bit more as far as map control here. Like this house right here, we should have at least like a deprobe OP here, and we should have a Gary up here. And see the supplies, like a Gary does go up like right after this thing. I think K or somebody goes up here and builds the Gary.
I got one up there later.
Yeah, which is great. And that was my only point, was like, and again, like I said, like we're nitpicking here. Ultimately, everyone played fine, and really, I would say that we didn't make any major mistakes.
So let's do a highlight. You ready for this highlight?
Yeah.
Look at that push on Rue right now.
Yes.
Look at that. Look at that front line.
I was gonna say our front line is beautiful. This control is fantastic. I think we do not take the point here, and I'll take some blame for that because I had a really nice OP, and I told everyone to flop to it, and then my whole squad was able to get in here, and then I put up a dumb person OP like inside the point, and it got wiped immediately, and then we lost all of our pressure. And so I'll take the hit on that one. But this is a beautiful front line, and we do this exact same thing. What? Let me see. 10 minutes later, and then we do take it.
Can I make an observation here?
Yeah.
And I think we were doing a really good job in Sean, but I think in this circumstance with this point layout, our actual objective needs to be either pushing straight east from that garrison, or sorry, straight west from the garrison in D6, or pushing to western and establishing there, because we want to always have that slant to our line. And if we have that, then we're really cutting off any ability that they have to exercise whatever freedom they have in F5 and push south, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, you and me, like for our team, I mean, Stu and I talked about this just for a while last night. Um, Team one very rarely was actually at full strength in any one place on the map because I'm back here seeing the same thing you're talking about, Dash. But I'm also like, look, I want to get that wrap. I want to go on there. So there was times where I would send, our 5 guys once I started some cap progress or just need a tip. That's when I went fully over there. Other than that, we were kind of 50-50 split.
Beautiful.
And like Stu, I hear you. My concern with like going full commit west is without starting any cap progress or feeling like we have good strong point control is that I'm leaving a flank wide open for defense and what could be that way,
Well, I'm more or less just trying to so I know what. Let's say that we're core for the sake of this conversation.
Okay.
They're going to have a garrison in Western, and they're going to be in those south buildings, killing anything that walks across any of those fields south of Western in D5, D6, and even maybe parts of D7. Right? Like that's what they're going to be doing right here, and they're also killing trucks that are coming out of middle spawn. They're exercising pressure south after they hold that point. So that's what I'm saying. Our emphasis perhaps should have been like you see the line in the garrisons right here. So we have one E7, and we have one in the corner in E6, right? Maybe a red zone Gary. The next iteration of that line is Western, right? That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying we did anything wrong or anything. I'm just perhaps something to think about. Like I know that Western, given this point layout and how it's at a slant like that, we want to be pushing them to a corner of the map. And the next iteration of us being able to do that is holding some sort of position and or force in the middle of the map, right?
Yeah. I think you're good. I'll say one difference, like for this, as compared to Dash earlier, is I have a feeling now, and Lost, you said it, we have won the frontline garrison battle. We have 2 launch garrisons here, where before when Assault got in there was just purely, muscle. Where here, Assault gets in, now they can be reinforced by the combined teams coming up. So
I'll
it
just
was
jump forward to a
a lot of good
place
stuff
where
in the screenshot.
sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was just saying this was a great screenshot you grabbed.
Yeah. Hold up, where are we at? 40, 54. So yeah, like I said, get up to this point here. So I'm liking what I'm seeing. I really like how all the spawns are laid out. So right here, we've unclustered these OPs. We've got Easton down here in the south helping out defense, just like we were talking about. Could have been done earlier, but we eventually get there. And he's got his OP set up, ready to go for when we need to flop back. We've got this Gary up here, which I don't mind. I mean, preferably I'd maybe have it down in this orchard, but I like how it's here because you get more of a radar ting from anything coming up from around here, and you can pinch back on the north of checkpoint if you want to spawn there. Good, nice OP layout for the attack up north of Rue. Again, like I said, I fucking full send and I put this stupid OP right here and I lose it immediately. And really, like, this is all my squad right here, and we were probably going to take it had I not moved this OP. So I'll take that on the chin. But I do like this. I mean, we could have taken Rue here. We don't. And again, my fault. But I do like how we have this garrison up here. We've moved the other one like I was talking about. Digi made a big brain play. Did that. We've got the tanks here moving south. Like, really, everything is looking really good. As far as this match played out, I don't know if anyone has any criticisms, but I'm a happy guy here if I'm looking at this right now. Okay, what do we got here?
I'll say one thing while you go to the next
Yep.
one. I do think we played the critical parts of this map better. Like I'd much rather always have if it's choice between 2 evils or trade off, I will always give up the south in order to hold the approach coming out of town. That's just me personally.
Me
So,
too. Yeah, 100%. But I think at this point we're in full control. We've got them on their heels in every way that we can, and they're feeling the heat right now. Unfortunately, I just got cocky. Okay, what are we doing? 57-49. This is gonna go a little bit quicker until we get to when they just bend me over with tanks. What's going on here? 57-49. What did I want to say here? I don't think I really care about this screenshot this much. I don't know why I noted this down.
three OPs around a garrison.
Yeah, 3 OPs around a garrison. This is the one that I reestablished after losing my really good one. So I just dropped it. And I kept making this run right here along the road up behind this little house and getting an OP down there. Okay. 102.57.
I didn't realize we had our garrison down there for 30 minutes. Holy shit.
All right. Decent map control here. Again, like we basically are in position to take Rue just like we were before. We're a little bit more spread out, but that's fine. We're just reestablishing and to 108.01 is when we actually
Get your eye.
so this is actually when we take the point. So Assault and Team 3 basically just bum rushed and got in there, and we had tank support, which is really good. They're basically contained to the south side. We had artillery dropping here. We had this tank watching here, and all the infantry were aware that that's where the enemy was coming in from. So we basically just muscled through and started to move south. Yeah, I mean, Rue is a tough one to hold, man. I mean, the only other things I have to talk about is like when we almost lost Rue. Because after that, I mean, it's fine, but this is a tough one, man. Like Rue, for whatever reason, every time I've played comp, is a really tough point to take, and it seems even harder to hold.
which goes against each other.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just the south side for us was really, really brutal. Like they sent 7 tanks in the south side between the time that we took it and the end of the match. At one point, they had 3 tanks. At another point, after those 3 had been destroyed, they sent another 2 all at once. I mean, a good play for them. Like they did a full combined push. I'll see if I can actually find like a good screenshot here. I think, yeah, we need to get I think an early Gary up in those southern barns is really crucial. We do, I think, make an error as a team here when we put this garrison down. Instead of having it back here, it makes a lot more sense to have it down in these buildings here. And I think it kind of, I mean, they sent 7 tanks and like 2 squads. I mean, there's only so much you can do against that. I think just one small adjustment next time we're playing Rue as allies, we don't need this garrison back here, but we should have it here, down in these little barns, because they eventually get in here and fuck us up. This is the best map control we ever get on Rue. And then from here on, it's a total slog until we finally clear them out. Let's see.
So Dash, just from talking and not necessarily specific on this map, your team 3 down there. We don't got cheese here for team 2. I know I was talking to him. So on that screenshot, what are you viewing as your team 3 priorities, or what are you calling out to your guys in that situation?
So down there, we are trying to control the south, but look at this. So since we took Rue, which is I think almost 12 minutes before this, we took Rue. I have been able to move from Rue to here, and I've not been able to, and I've been pushing south. But again, like right here in C8, they had sent 5 tanks through here already.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, like what do? You're just one squad. You can't. I mean, Double had a fucking beautiful play where he chased down one of the tigers and jumped on it and threw a fucking satchel on it, and that was huge. But I mean, other than that, like, there's only so much we could do. And
Yeah. So
and you can
this
see here, like, this is after they had sent 5 tanks through, and look at all their infantry. Their infantry just followed their tanks up,
but yeah,
and
this
got
was a poker moment.
established.
This was a poker moment seeing the recon because even me, I was in team one. I'm like, all right, we're all going south, like
Mhm.
yeah, type deal. So I would say, and just for going forward, this is the time where we want to be in command chat working with the defense lead. Like, hey, we're going to be doing this. We got to clear them out. We're going to, I don't know if A or H is either one of your OPs dash.
A is me.
Okay. So you say like, hey, I'm gonna get him on the the backside defense. Can you hold there, and we'll try to hammer and anvil it or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, but just in generalities, and minus the screenshot, in this scenario, especially with that 10-second headquarters spawn right there, team three, you're really just holding that, this is zoomed in, but that 8 column, and those crossroads, try to get in the field. And one reason why Rue is so damn hard is because there's so many fields that they can just sneak up into and not suddenly pop inside the strong point from
Mhm.
that 9 o'clock position, the 1 o'clock position, and even the warehouses to the south. So
Yeah, well, it was a good play by them to recognize, like, they didn't even try anywhere around here, north or, west, like, they didn't even send a single infantry through this field at all. They sent everybody through this map edge, and I was just watching this stream of people, and I was like, "Holy fuck." And it was a good play by them, like, it almost paid off. They got down to, like, I think we had less than 1, maybe a quarter cap pressure. Like, they almost took it back. Luckily, our tanks got there just in time. You can see them coming in here, and everyone collapsed back. It was actually a really nice recovery, all said and done. Like, we had everybody just turn around, come back, clear all this shit out, and then it was just a matter of time, and then we took Volaville. So
yeah.
I don't really have anything more than that. Like I said, thought it was really well played. A couple little small things that I think everyone can learn, but I think everybody took those lessons already from just having played the match, and yeah,
How
overall happy with it.
those tank pushes, were they following main roads or were they going open fields?
They were going fields down here, so like these two little houses down here, they were sending a tank down the road, and then it would just like jump the curb right here at this intersection and just go into the field down here. And so these are all
So,
hedgerows, so you couldn't even shoot at them from the road. You actually had to come out behind them. But then they had infantry behind them. Like, it was
mhm.
just a shit show.
So one thing I've been thinking about since yesterday's hot wash and then going to this AAR and Infidel, I don't know how often you guys do this, but might be something that we put into our toolkit is especially since we have, 4 defensive OPs, is having guys rotate to AT, and for mines and mining up some key areas or whatnot, just keeping them on the map. Like I don't know how effective it's gonna be, but I wonder down this one dash like a mine or two just to get a mobility hit on a tank.
Hmm.
Gato, did you get any mines off?
Okay, got those muted.
Yeah, I got a couple off, but I should have put up at least 6, especially when that run-up tank came in and parked right in the middle of the point.
Yeah, I don't like I know defense is a friggin' 100 miles per hour job, and I know it, but if there's like a squad leader say, hey, let's go ahead and work on get some mines. Like we got a breath. Let's go ahead and work on some mines and keep them up. Um,
Yeah,
Not sure how.
we're not running split like that before, so we were kind of like learning as the match was going last night.
Mhm.
We adjusted as needed, but those are things we are going to work on during the week.
Yeah, I think it's just polish. I don't know if
Yeah,
I would over prioritize it much, as opposed to, the garrisons, the OPs, all that stuff. But
Well, and
um,
what Big D did here is not something what like a good team would do either. A good team's not going to play their tanks that way. Like, they just rammed 5 tanks up our ass.
uh, I
I
mean,
mean, you might see it.
Core does a double tank push with their, but here's the difference: they coordinate with their bombing run and airhead.
Yeah.
I mean that's the token. You see 2 tanks lined up with core, and you're like, oh fuck, here it comes. And
Well,
then you
and
hear
this one you could tell like the Aussies were just like fuck it, man. Like just
full
send
send.
all of our tanks down there and see what happens. And it almost worked for them. So yeah, I think mining's a good call. It's something to keep an eye on. But like I said, I mean, they weren't even following the roads. Like you would have had to mine these fields, and maybe a couple of the entrances to Rue you could get, like this little crossroads right here as a tank. You almost have to run over that. Yeah, food for thought for next time.
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
don't know about like throwing them inside the strong point because they're just gonna get blown up by artillery.
Mhm.
And I mean, engineered, buildables, I also think are just a waste of time minus barbed wire. And even then, sometimes I feel like if we put them down, if we lose a point, how much are we trying or tack back into the point? Like, I almost like wind up cursing our own buildables. But I think mines is something that's possible low impact, or low effort, possible high impact, however the probability is. But no, I think like you said, Dash, I think there's things that we can draw from this one.
Yeah,
So
not a whole lot, but definitely some tightening up. Is there anything anybody else wanted to mention that we didn't get to yet? Any thoughts from anybody here?
good or
All
bad?
right. Yeah.
Can
Good or
you
bad?
go to where the map when it's 1-4 in the first round? Right after fourth cap.
In the fourth
First
round or the first round?
First round when it right when it went 1-4 in our favor. If you can find it.
Western.
Oh, okay, I see. I don't like that garrison in C8, and I don't like that garrison especially if we don't have garrisons in D7 or D6 or even C7. But I didn't realize that it was up prior to the cap, so that's kind of my bad.
Yeah, we put that down there because the airhead was there initially, and then we thought we were going to cap that, and then so he said just put the garrison down. So I put the garrison down. Yeah, and somehow we lost Western. 10 seconds later, but the garrison was already down.
Yeah, well, it stayed up, right? And it was green when we capped. I think it did. I'm pretty sure it did.
No, they took that down. I'm dead here. No, I'm not. Oh yeah, I'm dead here. So they took it down right around then.
Hey, Gary, come.
I'll say one thing just in general when we're looking at this, and if you get it, they on both these matches, even though one really we felt good the first round, they were both really sticky in our backfield, which against a soft team I was a little concerned about. But I also have to acknowledge that first time running with the BHB, we got some new players. It never really concerned us. The closest one was that straight on frontal Zerg rush, as you said, Dash. But
We're going real StarCraft here, aren't we, today? Fuck.
I know, I was gonna say, I got it in my mind. Fucking, I need a siege wall built, guys.
More pylons here, guys. Come on.
See, this is an interesting attack actually right now. So do we wind up taking it at this point, Dash?
Give me 1 second. Just got a phone call.
No, this is the one that we lose it on. This is the when they take it back.
Like, this is really interesting how much we have coming from the rear. Unless our frontal assault team launched from that garrison E5 and was the one that got into the strong point. But this is an interesting way. We got it. Oh, dash hit forward, dash.
Sorry, just give me 2 seconds.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure this is the one we lost it on.
I don't know, man. We got strong point control. We got 8-9 guys in the active sector.
No, I think it's the one we take it because we are from behind.
Please hold. Do. You
Space
guys,
bar.
everybody already
Dash,
clicked
space
the
bar.
event sign up. Make sure this Saturday, first round. If you haven't clicked the button yet, make sure you click a button there and event sign up. Let us know if you can make it. We're gonna try to get the roster out as quick as possible and do additional prep. So the Friday before, we'll have the strats drawn up. We'll probably already have the teams laid out and have individual team meetings.
You gonna rename the server?
Am I gonna rename? Oh, from the other people. Our server.
Yeah.
I can do that now. Forgot that point.
You want to seed it?
It's 10.
Yeah,
We'll see
but
how
if
many people are
all
playing after this.
30 of us jump in that game, it'll just seed itself, right? We'll just pretend we're doing a dry run, and then it'll just
I
seed.
actually, you know, I actually kind of like our little sneaky seed. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
unnaturally, like I know it probably confuses the people. Like, what? Why are they flipping? Why are they all over there? What? We just flipped again? And then we just leave. But you know,
It's like they just set all our nodes up and left. What happened?
I mean, great.
Hey, what is your server name, anyways? I found the one that's passworded, but I don't see any others.
Garrisons and whiskey.
Okay, that's what I thought. I checked it this morning. It looked like it still had a password on it.
Does it have a password?
No,
The
Garrison
8-player
doesn't.
one does.
Vodka does, not Garrison.
Vodka should be gone. Is Vodka still up?
The test one is still up.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say Vodka. I stopped paying for that a while back ago.
Yeah, I'll do a double check.
All right, Dash. Well, guys, Dash phone call calls. Anybody got anything else? Well, I'll go ahead and wrap this up. We're just approaching an hour here. Final calls about the match, about the upcoming match.
All right, I'm back. Sorry. My girlfriend just found a skunk in our backyard and she's freaking the fuck out.
Yep.
Anyway.
Definitely.
Eat it.
Tell her to pet it gently.
Yeah, not to startle it, just pet it.
You always just tell her you always have to approach skunks from the rear.
Yeah, she's losing her shit right now. All right, was there any other things you wanted to look at in this video here?
I was gonna say, is this the one we wind up capping on? If you go forward.
I think so.
As soon as we take Western.
Yep. Okay. That's interesting.
I told you.
Yeah, you were right.
Did we? We almost took it in the very, very beginning, right after we took hospice, but that was it. And then we took
Yeah, I mean, they were super light. We had like 2 or 3 guys in the sector. They were super, super light. I didn't figure that was gonna last.
I like it. I like the OP spreads here. What good things to like on this one? I don't know how, like, Stu, to your garrison there. I don't know how many use that garrison to hop over. I do like the control that people just didn't pub and be like, oh, I'm gonna go roll the next point now. So
I've been on this kick about 45-degree angles and pushing the corners ever since I got my face shoved in twice by core. So I've been trying to take notice of that whenever I'm playing for anything other than pub, right?
I don't mind that garrison just as like for like a flex OP to go around, to launch from, or just general harassment type deal.
Well, right. Like I feel like the purpose of that garrison would be for people to spawn on it and keep the garrison up and allow people to move north and get another garrison up. You know what I mean? Something like that.
Correct.
We actually end up coming from like C6, and I move in there and get the Gary up in C7.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're just about an hour. So, Dash, any final comments? I'll let you close this one down.
Nope. I think that covers everything.
All right, guys. Like I said, we'll be putting the roster out early. It's week 1 of the seasonal. We got a good match coming against UFR. By all accounts, will be much harder than HFKT. And eat drink and be merry for this weekend. We start. So, all right, I'm gonna jump up channel 1 and get some games in. Feel free to join.
Good luck with the skunk, Dash.
Thank you. I'm gonna go deal with that right now.
Hey, at least you'll have dinner.